Thank you for your interest in the AbleBridge Project Management Add-on for Microsoft Dynamics CRM. This video will walk you through the basics of our PM solution. Let's start with the Project Management Dashboard. Dashboards provide a fast, easy way to view and communicate business data in a visual format. This dashboard is provided with the solution and shows information at the organizational level. Let's take a closer look at the Active Projects chart. Here are the budgeted, billable, and actual hours for all active projects. You can keep an eye on this chart to alert you to any red flags that might come up, such as actual hours exceeding budgeted hours, or a high variance between actual and billable hours. You can modify this dashboard to better fit your organizational needs or create your own. For example, let's take a look at Remy's personal dashboard called Remy's PM Tasks and Timesheets. If Remy sets this as his default dashboard, every time he goes to project management, he can start off by seeing all the information that he finds most relevant. The view at the top shows all the tasks assigned to Remy that are due within the next 2 weeks. Next, here are all of Remy's timesheets. From this dashboard, he can easily click through to any of his projects or tasks, as well as go to any of the timesheets to add or review time. Remy also has the same chart on his dashboard that we saw earlier, but this one is filtered to only show the projects where he's the project manager. Next, let's take a look at a project. Under the General tab, you'll find basic information about the project: project name, the account it's associated with, start and end dates, who the project manager is, and the overall % complete for the project. Under the Budget and Billing section, you can decide whether the project will have a fixed budget or be billed hourly. You can use one bill rate for the entire project, or you can choose the Resource Role bill rate option. This option comes in handy if you have resources with different roles all working on a project, but are billed at different rates. When you open a project, you'll likely spend most of your time looking at the project task summary, which allows you to see all of the tasks that need to be completed for the project. You can easily see the status and needed by date of each project task, the resource working on it, how much progress he's made, and the estimated, billable, and actual hours. By default, the project task summary is grouped by project milestones and their target dates. Each group heading can be expanded or collapsed for easier viewing. All of the estimated, actual, and billable hours are subtotaled by milestone. If you prefer, you can group the project task summary differently. You can even add a secondary grouping. The subtotals now reflect the hours based on the assigned resource. You may have also noticed the numbers in the footer. These are the totals for the entire project. One of the highlights of the project task summary is Inline Editing, which allows you to quickly make multiple edits from the same screen instead of having to go into each individual task. Just double-click any row and it's available to edit. Once you're done making edits, click Save to commit your changes to the system. Another great feature is the ability to export this data to Excel. You can either export it as formatted data, as presented in the project task summary, or unformatted data. Formatted data is great for printing or sending in an email. Raw unformatted data allows you to further process the information outside of CRM. You can also easily import it into other systems. To make things easier for you, AbleBridge PM has a feature that lets you copy a project. This option allows you to save time when entering a new project that's similar to one that's already been created. By default, the dialog box will pre-populate information from the copied project. At this time, you can enter a new project name, as well as change the associated account and project manager. You can also choose which information to copy from the milestones and tasks. If you don't keep the same task assignments, all tasks will be assigned to the project manager. The ability to create a project and use it as a template cuts down on overhead and is a great time saver. The Shift Project feature allows you to move the start and end dates of the project, as well as the dates of milestones, tasks, and related task activities by a specified number of days. You can use positive or negative numbers depending on how you need to adjust your timeline. Let's shift the project dates out by 2 weeks. You can also shift a milestone or an individual task. Speaking of milestones, this is the grid where you set up and edit your project milestones. From the Project Task Summary, you can click through to your tasks. On the Project Task form, you can create a parent-child relationship by selecting a parent project task. When you shift a task, you can choose whether you want to shift its dependent child tasks as well. Project task activities serve as a checklist of items that need to be done in order to complete your task. Any activities you create here can also be found under the out-of-the-box activity section in CRM. If you sync your activities with Outlook, they will also show up in your calendar. A time entry tracks the actual and billable hours spent on a project against a task. From any project task, just click New Time Entry from the command bar. Here you can enter a summary of the work performed as well as your actual and billable hours. A great way to enter time while avoiding the need for multiple, separate time entries is by using timesheets. In a timesheet, you can enter time against multiple projects and tasks on the same or different days within a specified week, all from the same screen. Let's enter time for Remy on Friday for a new project. Since he hasn't worked on this project yet, we'll have to insert a new row. Notice that you can also enter time for a case. You can also go back into any of your other tasks in the timesheet and make adjustments to the description, summary, or number of hours. Another nice feature of the timesheet is the ability for managers to approve or reject a time entry. I'll approve this time entry for Monday. But I'll also reject this one because it doesn't have a summary. As you can see, approved and rejected time entries are color-coded so you can spot them easily. The timesheet can also be configured so that all time entries are approved when the timesheet is approved. Another way to look at how the project is progressing is via a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart is a type of bar graph that illustrates a project schedule. If you hover over any of the figures, you'll be presented with the information relating to that task. You can use Edit mode to move the start or end dates of the task or shift them entirely. When you make edits on the Gantt chart, it will change the appearance of the illustration so that you can see what's been altered before you save. The legend shows a great example of how to read the chart. When project-related expenses, such as airfare, lodging, meals, or mileage arise, you need to be able to associate those charges with your project. To view or add an expense to a project, click Expenses from the associated view. Many customers want to create a project once they're ready to close an opportunity. AbleBridge Project Management allows you to do just that with Convert to Project. You can even copy from an existing project and choose whether or not to keep the same task assignments. This feature saves time and streamlines the handoff from your sales organization to the project team. Thanks again for your interest in AbleBridge Project Management for Dynamic CRM. For additional information about this or any other AbleBridge product or service, please visit our website, ablebridge.com, or send an email to info@ablebridge.